Good evening. It's delightful to be back with you once again, isn't it, Ronnie?
Indeed it is. And in a packed programme tonight, we shall be meeting the world's greatest basketball team, which recently changed to a high-fibre diet and is now known as the Harlem Bogtrotters.
Then I'll be talking to a very public-spirited man who plans to leave his kidneys to St. Thomas's, his liver to Guy's, and his chips to McDonald's.
But first, the news. Interviewed on The World at 1 today, Mrs. Thatcher said that if we all pulled together, nothing was impossible. Although she admitted she'd never tried cancelling a Reader's Digest subscription.
The Astronomer Royal announced today that the 21st of June will no longer be the longest day of the year. In future, the longest day will be the day of the Eurovision Song Contest.
There was a red alert at Wormwood Scrubs this morning when it was realised that 26 prisoners had put their names down for picnic lunches.
Turville Dinge, the celebrated budgerigar impressionist, died today. A few friends attended a private ceremony at which he was flushed down the lavatory.
Sir Wilson Burton, famous zoo vet and specialist in the diseases of the elephant's tail, was also buried today. But as soon as they dig him out again, he'll be getting on with his work.
But now a sketch featuring Mr. Ronnie Barker as a nudist who can't add up and has to count on his friends.
Yes, well, of course, I don't know what Gower and Botham use on their cricket bats. I suppose things have all changed since my young day, but I always advocated the use of linseed oil, you know.
Good heavens. Is he still around?
I beg your pardon?
Lindsay Doyle. Lindsay Doyle, is he still around? My dear friend of mine, I haven't seen him for ages. How is he?
No, I'm awfully sorry, you're misunderstanding. I was just talking about the use of linseed oil on cricket bats.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I didn't realise I shouldn't be trying. Would you carry on?
Yes,
so sorry. Please do continue.
No, I think our pitch, of course, isn't ideal, but I determined, come hell or high water.
Good heavens, do you know her? Sorry? Camilla Highwater. Do you know her? Camilla Highwater, she's a very, very dear friend of mine.
Look, excuse me, would you forgive me?
Yes,
would you forgive me? I'm addressing my remarks.
Oh, hello, Myra. I'm sorry. May I call you Myra? Miss Mark somehow seems sort of quite formal, doesn't it? Myra, if you don't mind. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Carry on your conversation.
Any more you'd like to meet?
Oh, yes, Annie. Hello, Annie. How are you? Annie, how lovely to meet you.
Look, is there nothing I say that doesn't remind you of someone you know?
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, it's all right. Now, what was I saying? Oh, yes, this is sangria, isn't it? It's an awfully intoxicating drink, you know, sangria. Mind you, I'm the sort of character that gets giddy on shandy. Giddy on shandy? I have to be very careful, pick my words very carefully, because I can see more coming. See more coming. Anyone seen the new show at the Opera House? The Barbara Seville? At the risk of being called a Phyllis Stein, I would say that it's fully Des Irving of its bad reviews. No, I think we're all right now. What was I saying? Oh, yes, the pitch. I actually caught a child playing soccer on it the other day. I did, yes. Well, of course, I was forced to order him off it.
Order him off it?
Oh. Well, I'm sorry, you're becoming a perfect albatross.
Oh, how nice of you. Albatross, how very nice of you. He was a sweetie, Albatross. If there's anybody in the whole wide world I'd care to be compared to, it is he.
You see, it's all to no avail.
No avail? Did he mention me, then? That is my name. No avail. You can call me Noah, if you like. Noah. It's much more friendly. You know, considering how many people and friends we have in common, I think we ought to get together one evening. What about tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night? Oh, yes, I know her very well. It's strange she should have a Russian first name, isn't it? Tomorrow night, considering she comes from Stepney.
Look, Friday, dinner, my place. You know, I'm rather good in the kitchen. I always feel a meal you cook yourself.
Yes, Amelia Cook, that's who I'm having dinner.
No, you can't be. She died last week.
Surely not.
Shirley Knott was at the funeral. He'll tell you.
Look, Shirley Knott is the one I'm coming to dinner with, yes. Shirley Knott is. I've known her for years, ever since I used to spot her at the Buxton.
Used to spot her at the Buxton? Good heavens, don't they act to him? Goodness me, she's the man she's going to marry.
Rather him than me. Good heavens. I mean, she's a tart.
Oh.
I mean, until recently, she was the red light district's Lois Turner.
Oh, I think that's rather fair on Lois Turner. Lois Turner's rather nice, I always think. I'm rather well-groomed. I always feel her hair's very nattily done.
Well, simply because Natalie Dunn's a very good hairdresser. The trouble with Natalie Dunn is she can't do anything without consulting her horoscope.
Horoscope? Horoscope, that twit? Don't tell me she moves in his moronic orbit.
Ronic orbit? Who's Ronic orbit?
Come on, I've had enough. Are we going to stand here and let them bore us rigid? Let's go and see that guy standing over there.
Who's Guy standing?
Well, who's Boris Richard?
Oh,
Name droppers.
Tonight, a song that was a big hit in 1983 for Howard Jones, who also composed it. The title is What Is Love? And the singer, of course, Barbara Dixon.
I've got a cold coming.
You want to take some aspirins?
No, I can't take aspirins. They give me headache.
I see in the paper where it says that 50,000 germs can live on a pound coin for a year.
Oh, yeah? Does that include VAT?
Don't know. I should have asked that businessman I'd tried to tap the other day. Mean basket he was. Wouldn't spare me a pound for a cup of coffee.
Well, why did you ask for a pound just for a cup of coffee?
I'm a heavy tipper.
Anyhow, them Americans ain't got a lot of money to waste, they have. Look at all that money they wasted putting a man on the moon.
They're going to put a man on the sun next.
I'll do that. He'd be burnt to a cinder.
No, they've thought of that.
Oh, yeah? How are they going to get round that, then?
They're sending him at night.
Good evening.
What'll it be?
I'll have a bottle of beer and a large scotch for him, thank you very much.
Right, you are, sir. Nice evening, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Very mild, actually, very mild. Very bit quiet in here tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it's always ever so quiet on a Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that?
Oh, gracious, has he finished it already? You better give him another one, then.
Yeah, well, all right.
I don't mind a quiet pub myself, funny enough, you know. Rather than all these elbows and everything pushing in your back, struggling to get a drink, waiting half an hour to be served, all that kind of thing, eh?
He's done it again.
What's that? Oh, dear. He is throwing them back tonight, isn't he?
Look, he's showing them away.
What?
Oh, they're going over his shoulder.
Oh, they're not, are they? Oh, dear, I didn't notice that. Glad you drew that to my attention. Just wait a minute, a second. It's just a... Yeah, that's it. That's it. You see, that's it. His gyros are a bit out of kilter, you know what I mean?
Hang on a minute. What was that all about?
What do you mean all about? What
Oh,
do you mean?
that business with your friend's chest.
Oh, he's not my friend. He's a droid. He's a robot. He's bionic, you see.
Oh, get away.
Yeah.
What's he made of?
Well, his legs are made of 4x2. His chest an old budgie cage. His arms are made of Meccano and his head is out of a Burton's window.
That's incredible. I never would have known.
No.
Are you one too?
No, that's his name. Are you one too? He's very nice, helpful soul. Does all the washing up and does all the dusting and all that. Even does the vacuum cleaning. He doesn't even need a hoover.
What does he use then?
Sooner not say. Didn't half give the vicar a shock when he popped round.
What on earth did he do that for?
He wants a drink, that's all.
Well, there are better ways of asking. Seems a bit inhuman, if you ask me.
Well, he's not human, is he? He's not, you know.
Well, how does he go on for
Oh, he's not interested. Not interested in that sort of thing at all. He looks at a woman rather like you would look at a washing machine, you know what I mean? He's not programmed for it. He had a mild romance, I must tell you this.
Oh.
He did have a mild romance once with a petrol pump, but it didn't last.
So, nothing turns him on then?
Oh, yes, a little switch at the side. You just... You see, basically, he's got no brain. He's a lump of machinery, basically, you see. No brain or anything, you know. He cares for no one or nothing.
Where's he going now?
Oh, dear. Gone back to work.
Work? What does he do?
He's a traffic warden.
Witness, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest show on earth. It's full of frolics and fantasy and monstrous magical mirth. There's chimpanzees performing fleas, a striptease on a high trapeze.
And a greasy wop dives from the top into a camembert cheese.
There's mathematical elephants and boxing kangaroos. The girls are covered in radiant smiles and tinsel and tattoos. The Zulu dwarf is 6 foot tall. The human military cannonball went through the roof of the Albert Hall, and now he's nothing to lose. At Barnum and Bailey Circus, there's a cannibal from Kent. At Barnum and Bailey Circus, there's a hairpin man who's bent.
The girls adore the clowns on stilts. We had to stop them wearing kilts, because they're endowed with such a wondrous sense of merriment.
Circus, we have gold dust on the floor.
At Barnum and Bailey Circus, we dispense the best manure.
The flying nun got shot from a gun was last seen over Wimbledon. The vision through his telescope excited Patrick Moore.
There's jelly deals performing seals and dancing bears. Water down the clown's pajamas. And if you get a little wet at times, who cares? As long as it was not the llamas.
Miss Bendy Toy is such a joy, our corkscrew queen. Better known as Two-Ton Muriel. She really strains to get her knickers in a twist. It's time she got some new material.
And then there's Sadie, lovely, rude, very tattooed lady.
Samson, strong as a bull, started to pull Sadie.
And a private view shows her something new, and he loved her etchings too. Flying Fingletons display their fine physique. Fred for 62's quite sprightly.
And young Fiona only married Fred last week, performing for the crowd twice nightly.
Oh, Mr. Barnum, people repeat, you are a cheat.
Darnum, Bailey, you are a fraud, drunk as a lord.
Jailey.
There's your answer, mate, when you speculate, sucker just accumulate.
Oh, Mr. Barnum, you're the con man of the age, a huckster with insane ambition. What new career will your deception best engage?
I plan to be a politician. You want some more beer?
Yeah, I'll have a mouthful.
Oh, sorry, I've only brought a pint. What is the difference between a pint and a litre?
That's what I say. What's the difference? Hey, they got an extermination here at the pub tonight.
What do you mean, extermination?
Well, they stay open for an hour after they shut.
I'm off down to Pig and Whistle tonight.
Oh, I've never been down there. How far is that?
Well, it's about 4 miles, but if you hurry, you can do it in 2. What's that there you've been reading?
That's a letter from my girlfriend, that is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there's no writing on it.
No, we're not speaking.
My girlfriend's working down the museum at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah. Do you know they've got a dinosaur there that is 2 million years and 3 months old?
How do you work that out, then?
Well, it was 2 million years old when she started there, and she's only been there 3 months.
Have they still got those 2 little skeletons by the door there in that museum?
Which one's those, then?
Well, the big one's Nelson.
Oh, what's the little one?
It's Nelson when he was a little boy. Oh, dear, this beer's horrible. I'll be glad when I've had enough. I'd be better off drinking milk, you know.
Oh, don't want milk. I don't have milk. Milk's
Boy.
very dangerous. Milk was the cause of my brother's death.
How?
A cow fell on him. Now, my other brother, for example, he died. He was killed, really, by women and drink.
Was he?
Yeah. Couldn't get either, so he shot himself.
Here, what's the time?
I don't know. I ain't got to watch.
Oh, I have.
Why'd you ask me the time if you got to watch?
I don't want to wear it out. Good watch, that is.
Has you got a written guarantee for that? No, I ain't, no, but the man in the shop said, if anything at all goes wrong with it, do not hesitate to phone me up, and I'll tell you what time it is.
Something gone wrong with my budgie this week.
Your budgie? What's gone wrong with he?
He drowned.
Oh, dear, I told you not to keep me in that goldfish bowl. You should keep me in a cage like everyone else.
Well, I did, but the water kept running out.
My dog's died, you know.
Oh, dear, sorry to hear that. When did he die?
Well, if he'd lived till tomorrow, he'd have been dead a fortnight. Yeah. I've had that dog since a week before he was born.
How can you have a dog a week before he's born?
He's born a week early.
My sister's just had a baby.
Oh, boy or girl?
Oh, she's a girl. Boys can't have babies.
What do you mean, it's a baby, a boy or a girl?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, so you don't know whether you're a uncle or a aunt then, do you? What are you buying him for a christening present then?
A pram.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm buying this pram on the new hire purchase scheme.
What's that?
100% down and nothing a week. I was £2.5, you know, when I was born.
Oh, that's terrible. Did you live?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm all right, yeah.
Yeah.
You should see me now.
Do you know something? I've got 200 more bones in my body than you have.
How is that?
I had a kipper for my breakfast.
You know, we've drunk 10 pints.
Yeah.
Shall we have one down the Swan?
No, I can't wait. I'm going to have one behind the bushes. When you're a traveling man and haven't got a wife, there get to be a lot of different women in your life. Different in temperament, different in size. The shape of them azumas and the color of their eyes. Girl number one, never one better. Her name was Loretta. How could I forget her? She was a big girl, strong girl, built like a miner. A big girl, heavy girl, like to wrestle bears. Big girl, clumsy girl, broke a lot of china. Broke a lot of fellas' hearts and squashed a lot of chairs. Sat in a jury once and suffocated them. Girl number two, my oh my, 7 foot high, reach for the sky. She was a tall girl, thin girl, full length and fiery. Tall girl, skinny girl, legs like kings. Tall girl, knobby girl, willowy and wiry. Good for growing beans up and clearing out the grave. Sit down a grating outside the post office, never saw her again. Girl number 3, or was that 4? I used to keep score, and not anymore. She was a small girl, tiny girl, red little dolly, dainty little fairy with a bust of 42. Name was Arabella, but I used to call her Polly, 'cause she chatted like a parrot, so we left her at the zoo. She had such a big bust, she used to overbalance even when she was lying down. Girls without number, living and loving, laughing and scratching, pushing and shoving. Big girls, small girls, tall ones and midgets, redheads, deadheads, fatheads and freaks, Jeans Jones, Junes James, Betty Lou's and bridges, country girls and town girls, brown girls and Greeks, and one and all cause chaos and confusion. Love them and leave them is the only course. I learned one thing and come to one conclusion, that a man's best friend is his horse.
Tonight I'd like, if I may, to tell you a brand new cricketing joke, which has never been heard before. Actually, when I say it's never been heard before, that's not entirely true. Let's be honest. This joke is so old it was found buried with the Dead Sea Scrolls, as was the comedian who just told it. It actually dates back to 256 BC, which, as scholars of ancient Egypt will know, was the year of the famous Wildcat Strike by the Amalgamated Union of Eunuchs and allied sopranos in a dispute over severance pay. Incidentally, since the last show, I'd like to thank all those of you who have written in with suggestions about what I can do with my act. And the 1 or 2 of you who sent diagrams. Offers of work have been flooding in. Last week I was invited to go on a round-the-world cruise by the chairman of the Flat Earth Society. This week I was asked to do a very important after-dinner speech. I said, do you want me to be funny? They said, no, just be yourself.
it was actually, to be honest, it was actually rather a swish do being held to commemorate 50 years of the BBC canteen. And it was very, very moving. You're making jokes up there. No, it was rather moving. I mean, some of the original sausage rolls were there. Brought a lump to many throats. And it took me back to my own early career in the catering trade, when I was a lift boy and a dumb waiter. As I say, it was a very formal occasion. It was a very, very formal occasion, but somebody for a joke had told me it was fancy dress. So there we all are, the Director General, the Chairman of the BBC, the governors, all standing around in their smart suits and dinner jackets, and I'm trying to act casual, dressed as Bo Peep. With my glass of sherry in one hand and my crook in the other. I remember thinking it was actually the first fancy dress party I'd been to since May the 10th, 1975. Now, I remember that day clearly, because it was the one day when there wasn't a sale at Allied Carpets. On that occasion, that fancy dress party, I tell you, I put on tin legs from a suit of armour and went as a pair of nutcrackers. Out. Come on. To be honest, it was the usual low-budget affair, this dinner, hosted by a repeat of Terry Wogan, and it was 4 hours before the BBC cheese board arrived. They held a meeting and decided we couldn't have any cheese. I seem to have wandered off the point, actually. I was going to tell you this joke about a small country cricket team that is in the doldrums. Now, don't ask me which part of the doldrums. I think it was the northern part. Anyway, I spent a couple of weeks myself there last summer in the northern doldrums. And it was a bit of a mistake from the word go, actually. We were staying at a friend's cottage, and the heating system was a bit temperamental. When we got there, it was snowing in the airing cupboard. The rising damp was so bad, the mice were punting around in mousetraps. The doctor had told me to take a break, because he said I'd been overworking. And I suppose I have been taking on rather a lot recently. To be honest. I have been very, very active in our local pressure group, Short Comedians Against Bo Derek. It beats personal stereo any day. Well, to be honest, I don't put a lot of trust in my doctor's judgment these days. My wife asked him if he'd got something for a creaky hip joint, and he gave her 2 tickets for Ronnie Scott's. But I digress. Back to the joke. About this local cricket team. Now, they are one Sunday afternoon going through a bit of a rough patch in this game. And the chairman of the club, decides after the match he'll put an advert in the local paper. Batsperson wanted. See, batsperson wanted. Ability to hit the ball, an advantage. Apply, blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. Well, a month goes by and there's no response of any kind, and the chairman thinks, I wonder if I should put our name and address in. Instead of the blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. Well, it can make a difference. And just as he's thinking this, there's a knock on his office door, and in walks a horse. And the horse casually pulls up a chair, sits down, lights a cigarette, and says, I understand you're looking for some new players, says. And a bit posh, actually, this horse. I wonder if I put my services at your disposal. The chairman says to him, but you're a horse. And the horse said, I know. Because he's not stupid, this horse. He said, but I am rather nifty with the old willow, he says, and the least you can do is give me a trial, old bean. So they go down to the nets, and sure enough, the horse plays some strokes, very good strokes, making him both of them look like a fly swatter. And the chairman is so impressed, he signs him up. And the following weekend, the horse is put in as the opening bat. Out he strides to the crease hitter, in his shin pads, in his gloves, and his horse box. And in the very first over, it smashes every delivery clean out of the stadium. 6 after 6 after 6. And the club's regular supporters are astounded. And so are you, by the sound of it. And both have to be treated for shock. Then comes the second over, and the first ball, the other batsman at the other end plays a fluke hook shot and starts racing up the pitch to snatch the quick single, see. But to his astonishment, the horse doesn't move, just stands there, motionless. The batsman shouts, what are you doing? He said, what are you doing? He said, run, run, for God's sake, run. And the horse says, run? Do me a favour, he said. If I could run, I'd be at bloody Epsom.
hang my poppet.
I have a lovely weekend in the country, sir.
Oh, Alice, what do they know about life in the country? They either shoot it or mate with it. Sometimes both.
Oh, sir.
Edgar, will you come along? Now, Brighton, is the chauffeur all ready?
I believe he is at the front end, milady.
Did you clean my gumboots?
In wine, milady.
Excellent. Oh, dear, I forgot to say goodbye to Fifi.
I took the liberty, madam.
Oh. Goodbye, my darling Fifi. Oh, Brighton, you are the perfect butler. It's always those little extra touches one looks forward to.
Quite, my lady.
Don't just sit there, Edgar. Enjoy the country. It's beautiful.
No, it's not. It's green, and what isn't green is brown and in piles. Those horrible little flies.
I'll press them for you, sir.
Don't tell me, Brighton. My big end's blown.
I didn't hear a thing. Chauffeur tells me that the motor car has been tampered with, sir. Someone has loosened a rear grunion.
We shall be late for lunch.
Fortunately, madam, the Duchess's residence is but a few short miles across country. If you would care to walk.
Walk? With feet, you mean?
That's a good idea. Come on, Edgar. I want to stretch my legs.
Ah. Well, I suppose I might stretch my legs, too. If I do it often enough, they might reach the ground.
Shut up and come along. Springtime in springtime. Come on, Edgar. Now what? What's happened?
One of those dreadful butterflies came straight at me. I ran away and tripped over the, what do you call that green stuff?
Grass?
Yes, damnable stuff. I've broken several ankles. You just have to wait here, I'm afraid, till some help arrives.
Certainly. Lovely.
Look at the time. We shall be late for drinks before lunch.
I took the liberty, madam. I call it my woodland cocktail.
Oh, right.
A jigger of stinkwort, a dash of marjoram, a finger of dandelion wine, shaken in a hollow tree trunk and served in a water lily.
How exquisite. And you made it yourself as you came along?
I made the wine behind that tree, madam.
Doesn't travel very well, does it?
Well, they left on time, Your Grace. Well, her ladyship will be perfectly all right. She's got Brighton with her. And Sir Edgar. Yes, I forgot.
I think Brighton did it terribly well.
To me, it looks rustic, frankly.
It was so pathetic. You couldn't make table and chairs.
It looks as though he did it with his penknife.
If you would care to peruse the menu, madam, may I recommend the snails in wild garlic with fresh rosemary?
I suppose it'd be too much to hope for some frog's legs.
Well, it's a little early in the season, I'm afraid, so I did attempt tadpole's legs, but I hadn't got my reading glasses. Then, to continue, there is cuckoo omelette, a pigeon stuffed with truffles, and one very large truffle stuffed with pigeons, a wild honeycomb with oak apple jelly, and with your coffee, some after-eight cat mints.
Oh, Brighton, how do you do it?
I have a Swiss Army knife, madam.
I don't much like the weathercock.
No, it is a little muggy, isn't it?
No, I mean that thing. And if you think for one moment I'm spending the night in this erection.
Oh, no, sir. No, that is merely the butler's pantry, sir. I've built the big house over here.
Where are the necessary offices?
Over there, sir. Gents on the left, ladies on the right.
Butlers?
Round the back.
I think I'm going to pay a visit. Oh, my ankle's still hurting. Would you do it for me, Brighton?
Certainly, sir. I believe I hear her ladyship ringing from the lake, sir.
Crocodile! Crocodile!
What was that, Brighton?
I believe her ladyship said crocodile, sir.
Double-barreled? I don't think we know the crocodile.
No, I think she was referring to the reptile of that name, sir. Whilst ironing the Times, I did notice that one had escaped from Wincanton Zoo. With your permission, sir.
I'm looking forward to a quiet tea by the lake.
I fancy the crocodile may be starting without us. If you will excuse me, sir. You screamed, milady.
I did! Save me, Brighton!
At once, milady.
Brighton's in there with a crocodile. Save him! Save him! Save him!
Look, dear, I think you're forgetting my limp.
A limp what? What a specimen. He's magnificent.
We ought to have him stopped.
In the butter.
So do I.
Oh, Brighton, my hero.
I'm afraid it's the best I could manage in the time, milady.
Belgrave, 130, Alice speaking. No, I'm sorry. Sir Edgar and Lady Gwendolyn are still not found. The search is continuing. Yes, we can but pray that they're getting warm.
Roasted nuts, sir.
No, they're all right.
Your pork, sir.
Well, that time too, Brighton.
Yes, I'm sorry, sir. It took so long trading the conkers.
Any portal storm. Now, where's her ladyship?
I believe she said she was retiring early, sir.
Well,
Isn't that rather draughty?
I wasn't asking you. I was asking Bright. He ran up this nightie for me.
I think you better run down it again.
He made it for me. From Gossamer and Dandelion down. He's a man.
Sounds a bit of a pansy to me.
Pansy. You haven't got a teaspoon of red blood in your veins. Brighton is everything you're not. Strong, handsome, brave, gallant. Good night, Edgar. Brighton, I shall be waiting. Come soon.
There'll be votes for women next. Well, you think you're good at everything? She'll want to make love 14 times.
Will that be all, sir?
Probably not. 15 times at weekends, I think. I'm sorry if I appear twisted. It's just that I feel a bit of a gooseberry.
The best bit, if I may say so, sir.
That's very kind of you, Brian. Thank you. Sit down, old man.
Thank you, sir. I hope I can still come to you for a reference, sir.
Are you leaving Brighton?
Well, after this little fling with her ladyship, I think I may be forced to seek a new position.
Believe me, Brighton, you'll have a glowing testimonial.
Very probably. In the meantime, sir, is there anything I can get you before I retire?
No, that will be all, Brighton.
In that case, sir, I shall take the liberty of taking a liberty.
shrimps and shepherd's La 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 la.
Your early morning coffee, Brighton.
No, this isn't right, sir.
I insist. Oh, the dishonour, Brighton. My whole life in ruins, the chitterlings dragged through the mud.
You can stay with us. We shall need a butler.
I could show you the ropes, sir.
Yes. No, I'm man enough to know what to do. I'm going off to the woods now, Brighton. And I may be gone some time. Goodbye. Alice.
Darling.
It worked. It worked.
Well, that brings us to the end of the show. But before we go, there's just time for a few late items of news. The explosion which rocked Malvolio Terrace, Swindon, earlier today has been blamed on a faulty old boiler. She'd forgotten to turn the gas on.
Good news from California, where superglue victim Chuck Bradder was freed from his bath tonight after spending 4 days in freezing cold water. He'll be seeing his shrink for the next fortnight.
Task force from our Furry Friends League broke into Oliver Reed's bedroom and liberated his tongue.
Finally, news that 5 Indian doctors in Birmingham have formed themselves into a new group practice. They'll be known as the Bengal Lancets.
In next week's programme, I'll be talking to the Irishman who's the world's most prolific inventor, Mr. Pat Pending.
And I'll be having a word with the taxi driver who picked up a party of Finns at Heathrow. They didn't know whether the place they wanted to go to was called Bletchley or Sketchley, so he took them to the cleaners.
Until then, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night.
Good night.